कनाडा गलती पर गलती पर गलती करते जा रहा है। ये बड़ा गलत अप्रोच ले रहा है ये भारत के प्रति। ये क्लियरली अपने को एंटागनिस्ट दिखा रहा है।
भारत के साथ कनाडा की मित्रता अब इतिहास बन चुकी है। कनाडा की जस्टिन ट्रूडो सरकार भारत को लेकर ऐसी रणनीति पर बढ़ रही है जो दोनों देशों के संबंधों के भविष्य को अंधकार में धकेल चुकी है। भारत पर एक के बाद एक निराधार आरोप लगाने के बाद उसने भारत के गृह मंत्री अमित शाह पर भी गंभीर आरोप लगाए, जिसके बाद भारत की ओर से भी उसे बेहद कड़ी चेतावनी दी गई। कनाडा की संसद में भी जस्टिन ट्रूडो की आलोचना हो रही है और कहा जा रहा है कि कनाडा में होने वाले चुनाव के चलते ही जस्टिन ट्रूडो ये सब कुछ कर रहे हैं ताकि वे कनाडा के अप्रवासी भारतीयों के वोट बैंक की सहानुभूति हासिल कर पाएं। अलगाववादी खालिस्तानियों को रिझाने का उनका ये पैंतरा उन्हें कितना भारी पड़ सकता है, इस पर फॉरेन एक्सपर्ट्स ने भी आगाह किया है।
हमारे डिप्लोमेट्स के ऊपर जो सर्वेलेंस इत्यादि हो रही है वो कौन कर रहा है? कैनेडियन इंटेलिजेंस। मेरे विचार से इस समय कनाडा के अंदर एक जो इंक्वायरी चल रही है पूरी चाइनीज इन्फ्लुएंस इत्यादि को लेके, जिसमें ट्रूडो ने भी टेस्टिफाई करा था, वहां की एक कमेटी इंक्वायर कर रही है। उस कमेटी को यह भी इंक्वायर करना चाहिए कि उनकी अपनी सरकार किस तरह से इंटेलिजेंस गैदरिंग कर रही है। भाई हो सकता है उस इंटेलिजेंस गैदरिंग में कुछ गड़बड़ हो, तभी ये सारा बवाल हुआ है। तो मेरे विचार से कनाडा के अपने हित में ये है कि वो इंटरनल इंक्वायरी करें कि ये सर्वेलेंस कैसे हो रही है, क्या हो रही है। चाहे कि उस रिपोर्ट को पब्लिक ना करें, बट अपनी नॉलेज के लिए तो अरेंज करें। क्या पता उनका अपना इंटेलिजेंस स्ट्रक्चर ही वीक और कमजोर या निकम्मा हो गया है।
सर, उन्होंने ये भी जानकारी दी प्रवक्ता द्वारा कि ताजा कनाडाई लक्ष्य के संबंध में हमने कल कनाडाई उच्चायोग के प्रतिनिधि को तलब किया है। नोट में बताया गया है कि भारत के डेविड मॉरिसन द्वारा समिति के समक्ष भारत के केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री के लिए बेतुके और निराधार संदर्भों को कड़े शब्दों में विरोध किया गया है।
जी हाँ, डेफिनेटली यस। देखिए, कनाडा गलती पर गलती पर गलती करते जा रहा है। अब बात यह है कि शुरुआत वाली गलती तो मान लीजिए सही गलती हो सकती है कई बार, बट उसके बाद जो कनाडा कर रहा है ये बड़ा गलत अप्रोच ले रहा है ये भारत के प्रति। ये क्लियरली अपने को एंटागनिस्ट दिखा रहा है और एक तरह से इनकी जो स्टेटमेंट्स आ रही हैं उसमें ये खुद कह रहे हैं कि भारत जैसी राइजिंग पावर्स हमें थ्रेटन करती हैं, यानी कि वो अपना डोमिनेंस चालू रखना चाहते हैं हमेशा वेस्ट का। और इसमें ट्रूडो क्या प्रयास कर रहे हैं, ये अमेरिका को और इंग्लैंड को भी अपने साथ घसीट रहे हैं कि देखिए इंडिया हमें चैलेंज कर रहा है, हम वेस्ट हैं, इंडिया को हमें दबाना है। कनाडा की चाल ये है।
Truly astonishing, I think, and it's quite bizarre. I mean, for consular agents of a country with had representation in another country to be subjected to this sort of surveillance is in contravention of the relevant conventions, diplomatic and consular conventions, and for them to even sort of inform our consular officials that they're under surveillance is something totally bizarre. I mean, I can't imagine that a civilized, democratic country like Canada would adopt such measures.
Indian officials have summoned the representative from the Canadian High Commission yesterday, and it was conveyed in the note that the Government of India protests in the strongest term to absurd and baseless references made to the Union Home Minister of India before the committee by the Deputy Minister David Morrison. How do you see this?
Again, I mean, this clearly shows how Canada has behaved in this whole issue. And there is a background to this. If you recall, the Washington Post carried a story, I think it was on the 14th of October, based obviously on leaks by Canadian officials of a meeting in Singapore and about whatever they knew about what they feel is a case that they have. And now they've admitted on the 29th of October to the Committee on Public Safety, Standing Committee on Public Safety and National Security, that indeed they had leaked this information to the Washington Post and had even named a very senior minister in the Indian cabinet. Now, I'm astounded. I mean, this sort of behavior is in contravention of all diplomatic norms. It's completely bizarre and a piece with this Canadian government. This Canadian government shelters terrorists. If you recall that another government and another Prime Minister, who happened to be the father of the current Prime Minister of Canada, took very little or no action on the Kanishka bombing, where an Air India plane was blown up and a very large number of Canadian citizens, be they of Indian origin, but a very large number of Canadian citizens were killed. And now, in a situation like this, where at least 26 terrorists who have been wanted by the Indian government and an extradition request had been made to the Canadian government, they have disregarded. They have taken no action. So I find this whole thing quite bizarre, that in turn they are blaming us. They seek cooperation from us, but provide no evidence. They apply. I was listening to the interview of our High Commissioner when he returned. They wanted to travel to India, this team, so-called team of professionals or technical personnel, wanted to travel. One day's notice, they came and said, we want to go today. I mean, that's not how visas. I'd like to see how long Canadians take to give visas to our delegation. So I think this is completely bizarre. This is unacceptable behavior. And I must say that our spokesperson was rather restrained, and the government has been rather restrained in the action that they have taken against Canada.
As the External Affairs spokesperson has said, Randeep Jaiswal has said, that this is a flagrant violation of their duties, of their obligations, of their responsibilities. They are supposed to provide all facilities and all amenities to the diplomatic community which is accredited to their country, so that they can carry on their task, they can carry on their duty without any fear or without any encumbrance. On the other hand, what they are doing, what the Canadian administration is doing, that in any case these our officials are under threat of Khalistani extremists, Khalistani violence, because the Khalistani separatists have said that they will they had issued threats even against the High Commissioner. High Commissioner and 5 senior diplomats have been removed from the High Commission. But still, the people who are India-based personnel who are there, they are still also under threat. So rather than protecting them, they are further harassing them by carrying out surveillance and saying that you are under our watch and you are under observation. So I think this makes things extremely difficult, and I fully agree with what the External Affairs spokesperson has said, that this is violation and it could lead to further action by the Indian government against Canada. What the Canadian government has said, that the Indian Home Minister in some way is involved or associated with whatever has been going on as far as the assassination of Hardeep Singh Nijjar last year is concerned, they have no proof. They have not been able to furnish even a shred of evidence to prove India's involvement, let alone the involvement of the Home Minister. And since they know that they have no case as far as this is concerned, they are feeding these baseless insinuations, motivated insinuations to well-established media personnel, newspapers of the world, so that their fake news will spread in the world. It will malign the image of India, and this is deplorable. I am very happy that the Indian government and the Ministry of External Affairs has termed these allegations as spurious, as baseless, as absurd, and also further warned Canada that if they continue in this strain, then it could result in further deterioration of bilateral relations between the two countries.
It is very shocking, actually, that Canada should be not only putting our consular and diplomatic officials under surveillance, which is specifically prohibited against Vienna Convention, which both countries are party to. You know, in a sense, the convention provides for inviolability of the diplomatic and consular personnel. In other words, that they are meant to be facilitated in the conduct of their diplomatic and consular duties, and that no restrictions would be imposed on their functioning. I think that is the basic essence. So I think the fact that they have not only put our officials under surveillance, but also have the temerity to announce that to us. And I think this should merit an extremely strong reaction, response from the Government of India. Merely to criticize Canada, in my opinion, is not enough. I think we should be going beyond. So far what we'll be doing is that we're reacting to what Canada is doing. And Canada has crossed all limits of decency and normal diplomatic behavior.
He's also said that regarding the lead, it was conveyed in the note that the Government of India protests in the strongest term to the absurd and baseless references made to the Union Home Minister of India before the committee by Deputy Minister David Morrison.
Well, if you look at the sequence of events, the Deputy Minister goes on to make a reference to our Home Minister in his conversation with the Australian Parliament members, and then also confirms that he indeed made the same assertion in his remarks to the Washington Post. I think both these acts are highly objectionable and transcend and go beyond any diplomatic nicety, any diplomatic normal behavior. So I think it merited a very strong condemnation by the Government of India, which the government has done.